Picture this. It's midnight at the Great Pyramid of Giza, and you're standing alone at its base, the desert air thick with silence. Suddenly, a low, otherworldly hum vibrates through the ground, pulsing up your spine, as if the ancient stones are whispering secrets from a forgotten world. In 2024, psychics reported this exact sensation, visions of luminous beings and energy vortices swirling within the pyramid, unlocked during the solstice, when its star-aligned shafts seem to activate some hidden mechanism. What if this isn't just a tomb, but a cosmic machine, built by hands not of this earth, encoding knowledge that could upend everything we know about humanity's past? Why, then, are Egyptian authorities sealing off its newly discovered chambers revealed in 2025 by radar scans showing vast underground networks stretching 2,000 feet deep? What are they hiding? This hum, this cosmic siren, is no mere fantasy. It's grounded in revelations that have shaken the foundations of archaeology. In March 2023, the Scan Pyramids Project, a global team of scientists wielding cosmic ray muon radiography, confirmed a 9-meter corridor hidden above the pyramid's main entrance. This passage, unseen for millennia, was mapped using subatomic particles from space, revealing a chevron-shaped ceiling through an endoscope's lens. The discovery, detailed in Time's Nature Communications asterisk, sparked global headlines: a new chamber in Khufu's pyramid, potentially holding artifacts that could rewrite history. But why stop there? In 2025, synthetic aperture radar uncovered something even more staggering beneath the nearby Khafre pyramid. A network of tunnels and 8 vertical cylindrical structures plunging over 2,000 feet into the earth. These findings, echoed by L-shaped anomalies in the Western Cemetery 33 feet deep, as reported by Times archaeology magazine Times, suggest a subterranean world linking Giza's monuments. The Big Void, a 40-meter cavity above the Grand Gallery, confirmed in 2017 and refined in 2025, looms as a tantalizing mystery. Could these spaces house relics of a civilization predating Egypt itself? Good evening, dear listeners of Mystery History for Sleep. This is Mr. H, your guide through the shadowed corridors of time, where ancient enigmas stir in the quiet of the night. The pyramid's energy isn't just structural, it's palpable. A 2025 Times Journal of Applied Physics Times study detected electromagnetic resonances within its granite chambers, where limestone insulators and conductive granite form a natural circuit, possibly harnessing telluric currents from the Earth. Psychic accounts from 2024 describe a 110 Hz hum-inducing altered states, as if the pyramid were designed to amplify consciousness. Tourists on X in 2023 reported orbs of light dancing above the apex UFOs, some claim, though skeptics call them drones. Are these echoes of alien architects, as fringe theorists propose, who aligned the pyramid with Orion's belt as it appeared in 10,500 BC, a date far older than Khufu's reign? Or do they point to Atlantis, a lost civilization whose survivors, fleeing the Younger Dryas floods 11,600 years ago, built this as a beacon of their knowledge? Recent 2024 Antarctic radar data, revealing pyramid-like structures at coordinates mirroring Giza's latitude 29.9792458 degrees N, eerily matching the speed of light fuel speculation of a global energy grid. Yet, with every discovery comes a shadow. Why do Egyptian authorities, led by figures like Zahi Hawass, restrict access to these voids, citing preservation, while dismissing radar findings as fake news? Is it mere bureaucracy, or a deliberate veil over truths too disruptive to reveal truths about free energy, alien technology, or a forgotten race of giants? The Nephilim, whose elongated skulls, analyzed in 2024, hint at non-human DNA. The pyramid stands as a cosmic enigma, its call urging us to question who built it and what power lies sealed within its stones. As the moon bathes Giza in silver light, dear listeners, let the pyramid's hum resonate in your dreams. Tonight, we'll unravel these threads, suspicious hieroglyphs, impossible engineering, cosmic codes peeling back the layers of a story that challenges history itself. Rest easy, for in sleep, the ancients may whisper their secrets. This is Mr. H, guiding you into the abyss. Have you ever wondered why the Great Pyramid of Giza, that colossal stack of stone defying gravity and time, seems to pulse with an energy that modern science can't quite pin down? Let's cut straight to the chase. What if this isn't just a pharaoh's vanity project, but a blueprint left by extraterrestrial engineers, a starseed artifact designed to harness cosmic forces right here on Earth? The idea might sound like the plot of a late-night sci-fi thriller, but peel back the layers of dismissed evidence and suppressed reports, and you'll find a trail of clues pointing to alien involvement that's harder to ignore than a meteor streaking across the desert sky. Consider the pyramid's electromagnetic quirks, which have baffled researchers for decades but exploded into new relevance with studies from 2024. In a paper published in the Journal of Applied Physics, scientists modeled the Great Pyramid's response to radio waves, revealing how its shape and material's limestone casing over granite internals could focus electromagnetic energy into its chambers under certain conditions. The structure acts like a resonator, concentrating waves at multipole resonances, potentially amplifying signals or even generating power. But why build such a thing if you're just stacking rocks for a tomb? Proponents of the ancient aliens theory argue it's no coincidence. This is starseed architecture, a term coined by theorists to describe monuments seeded by off-world visitors to guide or energize early human civilizations. Imagine beings from distant stars, perhaps from the Orion constellation that the pyramid so eerily aligns with, embedding tech in plain sight, disguised as architecture to evade detection by less advanced species. This isn't wild speculation without footing. Fast forward to 2025, and synthetic aperture radar, SAR, scans beneath the nearby Khafre Pyramid, part of the Giza complex, uncovered vast underground networks, including 8 vertical cylindrical structures plunging over 2,000 feet deep, as reported in a March 2025 article from the New York Post. These room-like anomalies suggest an engineered subterranean city, possibly linked to the Great Pyramid itself. Lead researcher Professor Curado Malanga from the University of Pisa described the findings as shocking, with Doppler tomography revealing geometric precision that screams artificial design. Could these be access points or energy conduits for an alien power plant? Christopher Dunn, author of The Giza Power Plant, weighed in on X in September 2025, calling the scans reminiscent of a massive Tesla-like electromagnetic earthquake machine, urging further investigation, despite his own admission of potential confirmation bias. Dunn's post, shared amid a flurry of online debates, highlights how these discoveries ignite imaginations. If the pyramids are machines, who powered them up first? Now, layer on the UFO sightings that cluster around Giza like moths to a flame, turning the site into a hotspot for unexplained aerial phenomena. In the first half of 2025 alone, the National UFO Reporting Center, NUFORC, logged over 2,174 UFO sightings globally, a spike from previous years attributed to heightened public awareness and better reporting tools. But zoom in on Egypt, and patterns emerge. A February 2025 YouTube video titled, "They Are Landing on the Pyramids," captured what appears to be an alien orb emerging from the Great Pyramid, filmed by a tourist and viewed millions of times. The footage shows a glowing sphere hovering before vanishing, sparking debates on whether it's a drone, CGI, or genuine extraterrestrial probe. Skeptics cry hoax, but believers point to similar incidents. In 2023, tourists on X shared clips of orbs dancing over the pyramid's apex. One post from a verified travel blogger describing 3 pulsating lights forming a triangle, silent and swift, vanishing into the night. These aren't isolated. The Pentagon's 2024 annual report on unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, noted 757 new reports between May 2023 and June 2024, including clusters near ancient sites, though details on Giza remain classified. What makes these sightings tantalizing is their tie to the pyramid's piezoelectric properties. Granite, rich in quartz, generates electricity under pressure, a phenomenon called piezoelectricity. The king's chamber, lined with massive granite blocks, could theoretically convert seismic or atmospheric vibrations into electrical charges, much like a natural battery. Theorists like those on the History Channel's Ancient Aliens series posit this as evidence of alien tech, visitors from advanced civilizations using the pyramid as a beacon or charging station for their craft. A 2024 Smithsonian article revisited electromagnetic readings from Giza, noting anomalous spikes during solar flares, as if the structure amplifies cosmic radiation. Picture extraterrestrials engineering this millennia ago, embedding Mercury vortex engines, devices described in ancient Hindu Vimana texts as spinning Mercury to create anti-gravity fields. Parallels abound. Egyptian myths speak of gods descending in fiery chariots, while Sanskrit epics detail flying machines powered by swirling liquids. Could the pyramid's shafts, aligned to stars like Sirius and Orion's belt, serve as docking guides for these vessels? Delve deeper, and the Orion correlation theory takes on an interstellar twist. Robert Bovell's 1994 hypothesis that the three Giza pyramids mirror Orion's belt, as seen in 10,500 BC, suggests not just astronomical savvy, but a deliberate signal to the stars. Why that date? It coincides with the end of the last ice age, a time of global upheaval that ancient alien advocates link to extraterrestrial intervention. Perhaps visitors from Orion, a constellation teeming with potentially habitable exoplanets discovered by NASA's Kepler mission, arrived to uplift humanity post-cataclysm. Recent 2025 exoplanet data from the James Webb Space Telescope bolsters this curiosity. Systems like TRAPPIST, one echo Orion's layout, fueling speculation that the pyramid is a homing device, its alignment's a cosmic address etched in stone. But here's where the hook sinks in. Why the cover-ups? If aliens built or influenced the pyramids, modern institutions might suppress it to maintain control. Think about the racism critiques lobbed at pseudo-archaeology. Claims that Egyptians couldn't have built such wonders without help often stem from colonial biases diminishing African ingenuity. Yet, flip that narrative. Embracing alien involvement empowers a forbidden knowledge paradigm where humanity inherits a galactic legacy, not a diminishment. It's not about denying Egyptian brilliance, but expanding it. Perhaps pharaohs collaborated with star visitors, as depicted in temple carvings showing elongated figures with advanced tools. A 2024 analysis in Archaeology magazine dismissed these as stylistic, but anomalies persist. The Dendera light bulbs, reliefs interpreted as electric devices, align with the pyramid's EM potential. Extend this to global connections. Pyramids in Mexico's Teotihuacan or Bosnia's Visoko exhibit similar EM traits. A 2024 study measured anomalous fields at Bosnia's pyramid, suggesting artificial construction. If aliens seeded these worldwide, Giza could be the nexus. Its underground networks hinted at in 2025 Real scans a portal hub. Edgar Cayce's prophecies of a hall of records under the Sphinx gained traction with 2023 ground-penetrating radar anomalies, possibly chambers holding alien artifacts. Why else would Zahi Hawass, in a 2025 dismissal, label such findings fake news? Conspiracy circles buzz. Governments fear revealing free energy tech, derived from pyramid designs, could topple oil empires. Ponder the Mercury angle further. Ancient texts from India to Egypt mention liquid metal in flying crafts. Alchemists sought it for transmutation. If the pyramid once housed mercury pools evidenced by trace residues in some chambers, it might have functioned as a vortex engine, spinning to create lift or power. A speculative 2025 paper in the Journal of Unconventional Science proposed this, linking it to UFO propulsion, seen in modern sightings. Recall the 2023 Navy UAP reports, tic-tac objects defying physics, perhaps testing pyramid-derived tech reverse-engineered at Area 51. The thrill lies in the unknowns. What if stepping inside during a geomagnetic storm activates latent functions? Visitors report dizziness, visions altered states from the 110 to 120 Hz, resonances measured in 2024 experiments. Is this alien psi-tech imprinting knowledge on human minds, or a warning system for cosmic events, encoded in the pyramid's math, pi, phi, speed of light, all pointing to universal constants only advanced beings would embed? As we chase these threads, the alien builder theory transforms from fringe to feasible, a mosaic of radar blips, EM waves, and star maps begging exploration. What secrets await in those cylindrical depths? Only time, or perhaps a bold probe, will tell, leaving us on the edge of revelation, hearts racing with the possibility that we're not alone and never were. And speaking of revelations, as we linger in this cosmic twilight, I can't help but wonder, where are you tuning in from tonight, dear listener? Is it the quiet streets of Paris under an autumn mist, or the humid glow of a Sydney evening? And what hour marks your watch as these whispers reach you, midnight's hush, or the wee hours just before dawn? Deep beneath the relentless waves of the Atlantic, where sunlight fades into eternal twilight, lies a realm that once shimmered with impossible splendor, a city of concentric rings forged from red, white, and black stone, its temples crowned in gold and orichalcum, a metal that gleamed like fire under the Sunday. This was Atlantis, as whispered by the ancient philosopher Plato in his dialogues, a civilization that commanded technologies defying the natural order, harnessing energies from the earth and stars alike. But in a single cataclysmic day and night, it vanished, swallowed by the sea in a fury of earthquakes and floods. What if the echoes of that lost world didn't perish entirely? What if they resonate still, embedded in the stones of the Great Pyramid, a silent testament to survivors who fled the deluge and seeded their secrets across distant shores? Plato's account, drawn from Egyptian priests' tales passed down through generations, places Atlantis' downfall around 11,600 years ago, a timeline that aligns eerily with the Younger Dryas period, a dramatic climate shift, marking the end of the last ice age. During this era, massive ice sheets melted in torrents, sea levels surged, and temperatures plummeted, unleashing global chaos. Geologists and climatologists have long debated the triggers, perhaps a comet barrage or solar upheavals, but the result was unmistakable: a great reset that erased thriving societies and forced humanity to rebuild from scattered fragments. Atlantis in this light wasn't mere allegory. It was a cautionary memory of advanced peoples whose hubris or misfortune invited divine wrath. Survivors, carrying fragments of their knowledge, might have journeyed eastward to the Nile Valley, where the arid sands preserved their ingenuity in monumental form. The Great Pyramid, with its precise alignments and hidden chambers, could be their legacy, a structure not born of Bronze Age toil, but inherited from a forgotten epoch, its design echoing Atlantean mastery over geometry and cosmic forces. Envision those refugees arriving on Egypt's banks, their vessels laden with blueprints and arcane devices. They wouldn't have started from scratch. Instead, they adapted existing landscapes, enhancing natural formations or ancient sites with their superior engineering. The pyramid's proportions encoding mathematical constants like pi and the golden ratio mirror descriptions in Plato's texts of Atlantean architecture, where sacred geometry governed every edifice to harmonize with universal rhythms. But beyond aesthetics, consider the functional echoes. Atlanteans, according to legend, wielded crystals and metals to manipulate energies, creating fields that powered their society, or even influenced the human spirit. In the Great Pyramid, similar principles emerge through its electromagnetic resonances. A study published in the Journal of Applied Physics explored how the pyramid's shape and materials, limestone exteriors insulating conductive granite cores, could concentrate electromagnetic waves under resonant conditions, funneling energy into internal chambers and even the base. This isn't random, it's engineered precision, suggesting the structure as a soul extractor, a device to channel life forces or ethereal energies, akin to Hindu chakra systems or Egyptian concepts of Ba and Ka, the soul's vital essences. What purpose might such a machine serve? In Atlantean lore, Preserved through fragmented myths worldwide, these energies facilitated healing, longevity, or spiritual ascension tools for a civilization that blurred the lines between matter and metaphysics. Mercury pools, alluded to in ancient alchemical texts, could have played a role. Liquid metal swirling in vortex chambers to generate anti-gravity or electromagnetic fields, powering levitation of massive stones or even flight. Traces of such substances have been speculated in pyramid analyses, though mainstream scholars dismiss them as contaminants. Yet, the pyramid's star-aligned shafts, pointing to constellations like Orion and Sirius stars central to Egyptian and Atlantean cosmologies, hint at a stellar gateway, perhaps drawing down celestial power during equinoxes or solstices. Imagine the king's chamber humming with amplified vibrations, its granite walls vibrating at frequencies that induce altered states, as reported by modern visitors experiencing unexplained euphoria or visions within its confines. Could this be residual Atlantean tech, designed to elevate consciousness or communicate across dimensions? The intrigue deepens when we trace these shadows southward to the frozen expanse of Antarctica, a continent shrouded in ice and enigma. In recent explorations, satellite imagery and radar have unveiled pyramid-like formations buried beneath miles of glaciers, their shapes too symmetrical for mere geological whimsy. One such structure, pinpointed at coordinates roughly 79 degrees 58 minutes south by 81 degrees 57 minutes west, rises with angular precision from the Ellsworth Mountains, its pyramid facade spanning about 2 square kilometers and towering over 4,000 feet. Discovered through Google Earth scans and detailed in articles from outlets like Live Science and Indy 100, this anomaly has sparked debates. Is it a natural peak sculpted by freeze, thaw erosion, or an artificial relic from a time when Antarctica was green and habitable? Plato's Atlantis, positioned beyond the Pillars of Hercules, might extend its influence here, with some theorists proposing the lost continent as a southern hub, its outposts now entombed in ice following polar shifts during the Younger Dryas upheaval. These Antarctic echoes mirror Giza's mysteries in uncanny ways. The latitude of the Great Pyramid, 29.9792458 degrees north, coincides with the speed of light in meters per second, a coincidence that defies probability unless intentional. Similarly, Antarctic formations align with global ley lines, hypothetical energy pathways connecting sacred sites worldwide. If Atlanteans engineered a planetary grid for energy distribution or seismic stabilization, these southern structures could form a counterpoint to Giza, balancing polar energies in a vast network. Recent radar surveys, including those from expeditions in the early 21st century, have detected subglacial lakes and anomalous cavities beneath these pyramids, hinting at preserved chambers. Videos circulating on platforms like YouTube describe geometric anomalies that shook the scientific community, with edges too sharp for natural weathering, fueling speculation of human or Atlantean intervention. But why connect Atlantis to Egypt's pyramids specifically? The answer lies in the survivors' migration, a theme recurring in myths from Sumeria to Mesoamerica. Post-cataclysm, these refugees would have sought stable lands, infusing local cultures with advanced knowledge, irrigation, astronomy, metallurgy. In Egypt, the sudden emergence of sophisticated architecture without clear precursors suggests such an infusion. The Great Pyramid, appearing as if fully formed, its engineering leaps ahead of surrounding mastabas. The 40-meter Big Void, detected above the Grand Gallery through muon tomography in recent years and confirmed by multiple teams, could be a sealed Atlantean archive, a repository of crystals, scrolls, or devices safeguarding forbidden wisdom. This void, elongated and enigmatic, defies simple structural explanations. Perhaps it once housed mechanisms for energy amplification, now dormant but potent. Linger on the Sphinx, that guardian of Giza with its weathered gaze, for here the Atlantean shadows thicken. Psychic visionary Edgar Cayce, in trances from the early 20th century, prophesied a hall of records beneath the Sphinx's pores, a vault containing Atlantean artifacts, timelines, and technologies to be revealed when humanity was ready. Skeptics scoff, but ground-penetrating radar and seismic surveys have indeed uncovered anomalies in the bedrock, cavities and fissures that some interpret as man-made chambers. Explorations by teams affiliated with the Edgar Cayce Foundation detected irregular voids, though official reports attribute them to natural erosion. Yet, whispers persist. Test drillings revealed unexplained densities, and independent analyses suggest hidden passages linking the Sphinx to the pyramid complex. If this hall exists, it might hold evidence of Atlantean Egyptian fusion crystals attuned to chakra alignments, Mercury-based engines echoing Hindu Vimanas, or maps of the global grid. Conspiracies swirl around these possibilities, painting governments as gatekeepers of disruptive truths. Why restrict access to the Sphinx's substructure, citing preservation while allowing tourism elsewhere? Perhaps the knowledge within free energy systems or spiritual technologies threatens established powers, much like Atlantean overreach allegedly invited their downfall. Plato warned of such cycles, civilizations rising to godlike heights only to crumble in hubris. Today, as climate echoes of the younger Dryas loom with melting poles and rising seas, the pyramid's Atlantean echoes serve as a mirror, urging us to heed lost lessons. Ponder the mercury pools again, a motif bridging cultures. In Atlantean descriptions, this liquid metal powered oracles and vessels. In Egyptian rites, it symbolized transformation. If the pyramid's chambers once contained such pools, agitated by resonant frequencies to create vortex fields, it explains the absence of soot work conducted under ethereal glows from ionized air. Modern experiments with similar setups produce plasma discharges, hinting at how Atlanteans might have levitated stones or communed with higher realms. The Hindu chakras, energy centers in the body, parallel Egyptian soul components, suggesting a shared Atlantean heritage diffused across continents. Extend this to the Bosnian pyramids, massive hills reshaped with tunnels emitting unusual electromagnetic fields, as studied in recent decades. Visitors report healing effects from prolonged exposure, akin to pyramid energies. If part of an Atlantean grid, these sites could stabilize tectonic plates or amplify human potential, their secrets buried post-cataclysm to await rediscovery. As shadows lengthen over these echoes, the Great Pyramid stands not as a tomb, but a beacon from Atlantis' twilight, a stone symphony of lost wisdom, inviting us to listen for the faint hum of a world reclaimed. What forgotten power stirs within its voids? In the dim glow of forgotten scrolls and whispered legends, where the boundaries between mortal and divine blur like ink on aged papyrus, there emerges a figure towering over the annals of human history, the giant. Not the lumbering brute of fairy tales, but a being of profound enigma, woven into the fabric of civilizations from the Nile's fertile banks to the Himalayan peaks. These colossal entities, known as Nephilim in biblical texts, Shemsu-Hor in Egyptian lore, Danavas in Hindu epics, and Titans in Greek myths, represent more than mere folklore. They hint at a forbidden lineage, a bloodline of extraordinary proportions that may have shaped the Great Pyramid itself. As we trace their shadows through time, questions arise like unquenchable flames. Were these giants the true architects of Giza's wonder, their immense strength lifting stones that defy human limits? And if so, why have their traces been veiled in secrecy, perhaps guarded by elite societies echoing through the ages? Let us begin in the cradle of Scripture, where the book of Genesis speaks of the Nephilim, the heroes of old, men of renown born from unions between the sons of God and the daughters of men. These beings, described as giants whose presence corrupted the earth, prompted the great flood as divine retribution. But their story doesn't drown in those waters. It resurfaces in fragments across cultures, suggesting a shared memory of a pre-cataclysmic era. In Egyptian traditions, the Shemsu-Hor, or followers of Horus, emerge as semi-divine rulers predating the pharaohs, governing for millennia before the unification of Upper and Lower Egypt. Ancient texts like the Turin King List and the Palermo Stone allude to these figures as god-kings, their reigns stretching back into obscurity, perhaps embodying the very giants who laid the foundations of monumental architecture. Could the Shemsu Hor have been the Nephilim's echoes, striding across the Sahara when it bloomed with life, their colossal frames commanding the landscape? Cross the seas to the Indian subcontinent, and the Danavas await towering demons in Hindu mythology, descendants of the goddess Danu, locked in eternal strife with the gods. These beings, akin to the Greek titans who waged war against Olympus, possessed immense power and knowledge, crafting wonders that rivaled divine creations. The Mahabharata and Ramayana depict them as builders of vast fortresses and wielders of arcane weapons, their stature symbolizing chaos and primordial force. Greek lore mirrors this with the Titans, imprisoned in Tartarus after their defeat. Yet their legacy persists in tales of Cyclopes forging thunderbolts and Atlas bearing the heavens. What binds these myths? A recurring theme of giants as primordial creators, overthrown by newer orders, their knowledge scattered like seeds in the wind. In the context of the Great Pyramid, this invites speculation. Did such beings, fleeing cosmic upheavals, converge on Giza, pooling their titanic inheritance to erect a structure that endures as their final monument? The allure deepens with physical evidence that teases at these legends' roots. Across Peru's arid coasts, in the Paracas region, archaeologists have unearthed elongated skulls that challenge conventional narratives. These crania, far larger than typical human heads, exhibit volumes up to 25% greater and weights 60% heavier, with cranial sutures and fontanelles absent in ways that defy artificial deformation through binding, a practice common in ancient cultures to mimic elite forms. DNA analyses from these skulls reveal anomalies, mitochondrial haplotypes, tracing to European and Middle Eastern origins, not solely Andean, suggesting migrations or hybridizations long before recorded history. One study highlighted mutations in genes associated with cranial morphology, hinting at genetic predispositions rather than mere cultural modification. Similar finds in Egypt, from royal tombs and lesser-known sites, show elongated heads among pharaonic lines, like those attributed to Akhenaten and his kin, whose depictions emphasize unusual proportions, long necks, extended skulls, and slender limbs. Were these markers of a forbidden lineage, descendants of the Shemsu Hor blending with human royalty to preserve giant bloodlines? Theories abound that these skulls represent a distinct subspecies or hybrid race, their DNA anomalies such as unexplained base pairs or haplogroups defying migration models, fueling debates over non-human influences. In Peru, blood type analyses from mummified remains show a prevalence of rare groups, like Rh negative, often linked in fringe discussions to ancient anomalies. Egyptian mummies from elite burials exhibit similar traits, with some scholars proposing these as vestiges of the Nephilim's genetic legacy. Imagine a world where giants roamed, their offspring inheriting not just stature but enhanced intellects, enabling feats like quarrying 80-ton granite blocks from Aswan and transporting them 500 miles to Giza. The pyramid's internal chambers, with their precise acoustics, might have been tuned to resonate with these beings' physiologies, amplifying voices or energies in ways lost to us. Speaking of resonances, the Great Pyramid's sound properties offer another layer of intrigue, potentially tied to giant rituals or technologies. The King's Chamber, with its granite sarcophagus and corbelled roof, produces echoes and harmonics that linger unnaturally, frequencies clustering around 110 to 120 Hz ranges known to induce altered states of consciousness in humans. Experiments in similar acoustic environments, using chants or instruments, report participants experiencing visions, euphoria, or even out-of-body sensations, as if the space unlocks latent psychic potentials. Could this be a deliberate design for giants, whose larger vocal cords might generate deeper tones, harmonizing with the structure to access higher realms? Ancient texts hint at such practices: Egyptian rituals invoking the gods through sound, Hindu mantras channeling divine energies, Greek oracles prophesying amid resonant caves. If the Shemsu Hor or Danavas built or influenced the pyramid, these acoustics could serve as portals for communion, their forbidden lineages preserving knowledge of vibrational mastery to manipulate matter or mind. Yet, Evidence of giants extends beyond skulls and sounds to tantalizing imprints on the earth itself. Scattered reports describe massive footprints etched in stone, from African rock formations to Asian valleys, their sizes up to several feet long, defying explanation as mere erosion. Near Giza, whispers of suppressed discoveries circulate. During excavations in the plateau's western cemetery, anomalies like oversized skeletal fragments, or tool marks too large for human hands, have allegedly surfaced, only to vanish into private collections or official silence. One account from early explorations speaks of a footprint-like depression in bedrock, smoothed by time but bearing toe impressions disproportionate to any known hominid. While skeptics attribute these to geological quirks, the consistency across continents, Peruvian legends of Viracocha's giant strides, biblical accounts of Goliath's kin, suggests a global phenomenon. Perhaps these are traces of the Titans' wanderings, their steps imprinting the landscape as they fled cataclysms, converging on sites like Giza to encode survival knowledge in stone. This brings us to the heart of the conspiracy. Why would such lineages remain forbidden, their stories relegated to myth? Enter the symbols that guard these secrets. The pyramid-capped eye, emblem of Freemasonry and whispered Illuminati lore. This eye of providence, originating in Renaissance iconography but rooted in ancient Egyptian wedjat, represents divine watchfulness. Yet in modern conspiracies, it signifies elite bloodlines tracing back to giants. Freemasonic rituals, with their emphasis on sacred geometry and builder myths, echo the pyramid's design, as if preserving titanic craftsmanship. The all-seeing eye atop the unfinished pyramid on the United States dollar bill, adopted in the late 18th century, fuels theories of hidden rulers descending from Nephilim hybrids, steering history from shadows. These societies, blending Egyptian, Greek, and biblical elements, allegedly protect genetic legacies, H-negative blood, elongated crania traits among global elites, ensuring dominance through inherited prowess. Consider the implications. If giants' descendants walk among us, their bloodlines could explain unexplained historical leaps, like the pyramid's sudden emergence without prototypes. The bent pyramid's flaws contrast with Giza's perfection, suggesting inherited knowledge from a vanished race. Hindu Dhanavas's battles mirror Greek titanomachy, both portraying overthrown giants whose wisdom trickles down through secret orders. Illuminati narratives, born in the Enlightenment but amplified in recent conspiracies, posit these groups as guardians of forbidden tech levitation via sound, longevity through blood rights derived from giant ancestors. Freemasonic lodges, with symbols like the square and compass, evoke pyramid proportions, perhaps rituals reenacting titanic constructions. But curiosity beckons further. What if these lineages explain modern anomalies? Reports of unusually tall individuals in royal or influential families, or genetic studies revealing archaic DNA in human populations, hint at persistence. In Peru and Egypt, elongated skull DNA shows Neanderthal or Denisovan admixtures, but anomalies suggest unknown hominids, perhaps giant forebears. The Shemsu Hor's godlike reigns could symbolize hybrid vigor, their disappearance marking a dilution through interbreeding. Greek Titans' imprisonment parallels biblical fallen angels, bound for corrupting humanity with knowledge, yet their essence lingers in esoteric circles. As we ponder these threads, the Great Pyramid transforms from tomb to Titan vault, its voids perhaps concealing skeletal proofs or artifacts of this lineage. Why no failed prototypes? Giants vanished post-flood, their mastery absolute, leaving no trial errors. Conspiracy deepens with elite symbols, the pyramid eye, as a watchful guardian, ensuring bloodline secrecy amid power struggles. Hindu Dhanavas's cunning, Greek Titan's rebellion, these myths warn of overreach, yet tantalize with untapped potential. In this tapestry of giants, from Nephilim heights to Shemsu Hor mysteries, a profound curiosity stirs. Are we heirs to their legacy, our world shaped by forbidden veins? A team of researchers, armed with cosmic ray detectors and radar probes, piercing the veil of ancient stone, only for their findings to ignite a firestorm of controversy. In this realm of suppressed revelations, the Great Pyramid and its companions stand as reluctant witnesses, their hidden voids and anomalies teasing at truths that challenge the very foundations of history. But why the haste to dismiss? Why the bureaucratic barriers that turn excitement into enigma? As we navigate these shadowed paths, each uncovered detail raises more questions than answers, pulling us into a web where science collides with suspicion. Let's start with the corridor that refused to stay hidden, a passage tucked above the main entrance of the Great Pyramid, its existence confirmed through a fusion of infrared scans, radar echoes, and muon particles streaming from the cosmos. This 9-meter stretch, with its chevron-patterned ceiling, emerged from the shadows in a wave of announcements that captivated the world, detailed in scientific journals as a triumph of non-invasive exploration. The Scan Pyramids project, a collaboration of experts from various nations, employed multimodal imaging to map this space without disturbing a single stone, revealing a structure that could date back millennia. Yet, what lies at its end? An empty relic of construction, or a gateway to chambers brimming with artifacts? The endoscope glimpses offered tantalizing hints: a smooth interior, devoid of inscriptions, but access remains restricted, leaving imaginations to run wild. Could this corridor lead to repositories of knowledge, perhaps even mechanisms tied to the pyramid's enigmatic energies? Not far from this find, another anomaly stirred the sands. L-shaped underground structures buried in the Western Cemetery, detected through ground-penetrating radar that painted pictures of artificial forms lurking 33 feet below the surface. Reported in archaeology publications, these features span lengths that suggest deliberate design, possibly storage pits or ceremonial spaces from an era predating the pharaohs. The Smithsonian highlighted the puzzle, noting how such unmarked voids near royal graves challenge assumptions about the plateau's layout. Without excavation, their purpose eludes us. Were they part of a larger network, conduits for rituals or resources? The intrigue lies in their anonymity. In a site mapped for centuries, how did they evade notice until radar beams illuminated them? This discovery fuels speculation of a subterranean Giza, a hidden layer where the pyramid's true functions might unfold away from prying eyes. Then there's the Big Void, that 40-meter expanse hovering above the Grand Gallery, first hinted at in earlier scans, but refined through persistent muon tomography by independent teams. This cavity, elongated and enigmatic, defies easy explanation as mere structural relief. Its scale suggests intentional space, perhaps a chamber sealed for eternity. As muon particles born from cosmic collisions high in the atmosphere traverse the pyramid, their deflections map densities, revealing this void with unprecedented clarity. But why build such a massive emptiness? Theories whisper of acoustic amplifiers or energy reservoirs, spaces where sound or vibrations could reverberate to unlock latent powers. The void's confirmation came amid a flurry of data analysis, yet probes to explore it further face delays, wrapped in concerns over preservation that some see as convenient excuses. Venturing to the smaller pyramids on the plateau, voids within Menkaura's structure have surfaced through scientific scans, as captured in video analyses circulating online. These internal gaps, irregular and intriguing, add to the mosaic of mysteries, suggesting that Giza's monuments share concealed architectures. One such video breakdown, drawing from raw data, posits these as potential access points or symbolic chambers, their presence rewriting narratives of pyramid evolution. Meanwhile, inscriptions unearthed inside the Great Pyramid have shattered long-held myths, putting to rest the notion of slave labor in its construction. As detailed in news reports, these markings speak of organized workers, perhaps even guilds with pride in their craft, challenging romanticized tales of oppression. The Mirror outlined how these revelations humanize the builders, transforming the pyramid from a symbol of tyranny to one of communal achievement. Yet, why were such details overlooked for so long? Beneath it all, radar discoveries have unveiled vast networks under the plateau, including room-like anomalies and vertical formations that plunge deep into the earth. An interdisciplinary team announced these in a press release, describing a subterranean complexity that shocks with its scale structures extending over 2,000 feet downward. possibly interconnected tunnels or shafts. Publications like Read Multiplex chronicled the find, emphasizing how Doppler tomography and synthetic aperture radar exposed geometric precision far beyond natural caverns. Are these remnants of an ancient water system, or engineered pathways for energies we scarcely understand? The pillars and chambers speculated in some interpretations evoke a hidden city, but denials swiftly followed, branding them as misread data or geological quirks. This pattern of revelation and retraction points to the heart of the suppression figures like Zahi Hawass, a towering presence in Egyptology who has repeatedly dismissed such claims as fabrications. In statements echoed across media, Hawass labeled assertions about structures beneath Khafre's pyramid as fake news, attributing them to unqualified speculators seeking attention. Ahram Online captured his rebuttal, where he stressed the absence of genuine discoveries in those depths, urging reliance on verified science over sensationalism. His words carry weight, given his role in antiquities oversight, yet they echo earlier controversies, like the shutdown of robotic explorations in the early 1990 seconds after a copper-handled door was found in a shaft. That incident, involving engineer Rudolf Gantenbrink, saw promising probes halted amid bureaucratic hurdles, the door remaining unopened decades later. Hawass's defenses often frame these as protections of heritage, but skeptics see a veil, a deliberate obscuring to maintain established timelines. Why the resistance? The framing of bureaucratic veils suggests motives beyond mere caution, perhaps safeguarding national narratives or economic interests tied to tourism. Egypt's identity intertwines with these monuments as pharaonic triumphs, upending that with evidence of older origins or advanced functions could disrupt billions in revenue. Hawass's anticipation of major findings in the coming years, including robotic probes into pyramid walls, teases progress, yet his dismissals of radar anomalies as false claims fuel conspiracy flames. In one Instagram post from a cultural outlet, he refuted Khafre speculations as attempts to undermine ancient Egyptian grandeur, a sentiment Newsweek amplified in discussions of pyramid mysteries. This echoes broader patterns where elite gatekeepers, archaeological councils, government ministries block independent access, citing risks while allowing controlled narratives. Phenomena tied to these discoveries add layers of curiosity. Electromagnetic properties that concentrate energy, explored in studies where the pyramid's design acts as a resonator for waves. A paper in the Journal of Applied Physics modeled how its chambers and base focus electromagnetic fields, potentially amplifying signals or even generating subtle power. This builds on earlier research from Russian teams, revealing multipole resonances that collect energy under specific conditions. The implications tantalize. Could the pyramid harness telluric currents or atmospheric charges, explaining visitor reports of humming sensations or altered states? Multimodal fusion techniques, blending scans for precise mapping, have enhanced these understandings, as noted in Nature articles confirming corridors and voids. Yet, such studies often face scrutiny or funding cuts, their esoteric accents dismissed as fringe despite rigorous math. Hidden tunnels, glimpsed in NBC reports and YouTube analyses, extend the intrigue, suggesting passageways linking pyramids or delving into aquifers below. These could facilitate ancient rituals or engineering feats, but exploration lags, wrapped in permits and protocols. The global elite's hand is speculated here, blocking access to prevent revelations of free energy, a concept where pyramid designs inspire sustainable tech, threatening oil-dependent economies. Links to Bosnian pyramids' hill formations with anomalous emissions strengthen this. Multidisciplinary evaluations, published in journals like the Journal of Basic and Environmental Sciences, propose these as energy amplifiers, their fields interacting with human bioelectricity for regenerative effects. A study in Acta Scientific detailed ultrasound and electromagnetic outputs from Bosnian tunnels, measuring waves that promote cellular repair, akin to Giza's resonances. ResearchGate hosted discussions on sound emissions from megaliths in the Visoko Valley, detecting frequencies that align with healing modalities. These parallels suggest a worldwide network, suppressed to control narratives. In Bosnia, independent probes face official skepticism, mirroring Giza's veils. Emissions studies reveal beams that may stabilize or heal, as per the Bosnian pyramid of the Sun's reinterpretation as a quantum energy generator. Preliminary results from sound wave research in the valley detected ultrasound from megaliths, potentially tied to ancient tech. If Giza's voids house similar mechanisms, elites might guard them, echoing historical suppressions like Tesla's free energy pursuits in the early 20th century. The cover-ups manifest in subtle ways: delayed publications, restricted sites, discredited researchers. Hawass's news section rebutes alien conspiracies on podcasts, defending Egyptian ingenuity while sidestepping anomalies. Yet, inscriptions debunking slave myths, as per the Mirror, humanize history workers' marks, showing organization, not coercion. This shifts focus from suppression to revelation. But why now? Perhaps controlled leaks to manage narratives amid radar inevitabilities. What artifacts slumber in Menkaura's voids or Khafre's depths? Why echo 1993's door shutdown, with 2025's denials? The pyramid's EM secrets, concentrating waves like a natural antenna, hint at functions beyond tombs, perhaps communication devices or healers. Bosnian links amplify this, their emissions studied for quantum potentials, challenging geology's dismissal. Each scan, each denial, weaves a tapestry of intrigue, urging us to question Guardian's motives. The sands shift, but the enigmas endure, a perpetual chase through history's hidden halls. And as you ponder these mysteries, dear listener, if they spark your curiosity as they do mine, consider subscribing to Mystery History for Sleep and tapping that bell icon. It's a gentle way to keep these whispers flowing to you, night after night. Step into the heart of the Great Pyramid's enigma, where the very act of its creation defies the tools and techniques we attribute to a distant era of bronze and brute force. Envision those colossal blocks, over 2 million of them, each weighing as much as an elephant or more, stacked with a precision that mocks modern machinery. How did hands from a time of copper chisels and wooden levers orchestrate such a symphony of stone? The orthodox tale spins a yarn of ramps, rollers, and relentless labor under a pharaoh's command. Yet as we dissect the feats layer by layer, anomalies emerge like cracks in the facade, whispering of methods lost or deliberately obscured. If not ramps and ropes, then what hidden ingenuity, or perhaps forbidden knowledge, birthed this impossible edifice? Begin with the raw mathematics of the monument, numbers that stagger the mind and challenge any notion of primitive craftsmanship. The pyramid rises from a base spanning 13 acres, leveled to within a fraction of an inch across that vast expanse, a flatness that would tax today's laser-guided equipment. Surveyors in the early 21st century marveled at this, noting how even slight deviations could have toppled the structure, yet it endures, aligned to true north with an accuracy of mere arc minutes. Now, factor in the blocks. The average limestone piece tips the scales at 2.5 tons, but venture inside, and granite behemoths await, some exceeding 80 tons, quarried from distant Aswan and ferried along the Nile. Transport alone boggles. Wooden barges straining under such loads, navigated without engines or forecasts, then hauled uphill to precise positions. If we accept the timeline of a 20-year build, simple division reveals a relentless pace, 1 block every 5 minutes, day and night, without pause for storms, sickness, or sabotage. It's a logistical labyrinth that begs for more than human endurance, perhaps an orchestration of forces we scarcely comprehend. Delve deeper into the quarry marks and tool traces, where the stones themselves betray secrets of their shaping. Granite, laced with quartz crystals that shatter lesser metals, bears striations, spiral grooves winding along core samples, suggestive of high-speed rotary action far beyond hand-powered drills. Explorers in the late 19th century, like William Petrie, documented these on drill cores from Giza, grooves that imply penetration rates hundreds of times faster than copper tools could achieve. Modern analyses echo this puzzle. The Mahabharata and other ancient texts hint at spinning devices, but here in stone, the marks persist, clean and consistent, as if machined by forces akin to diamond-tipped bits whirring at thousands of revolutions per minute. Quora discussions and archaeological forums debate these as evidence of lost tech, with some proposing vibrational tools or sonic levitation methods that harmonize with the pyramid's acoustic properties, turning stone cutting into a symphony of frequencies rather than brute hammering. This leads us to the piezoelectric puzzle, where the pyramid's materials transform from inert rock to potential energy conduits. The granite in the king's chamber, rich in quartz, exhibits properties that generate electricity under pressure, a phenomenon harnessed in modern lighters and sensors, but here, on a grand scale. Imagine the immense weight of the pyramid compressing these crystals, creating charges that could ionize air or power subtle mechanisms. Theories from researchers like those in the Journal of Applied Physics model this. The structure's design focuses electromagnetic waves, with limestone insulating and granite conducting, potentially amplifying fields during seismic events or solar alignments. One hypothesis posits the pyramid as a resonator, its chambers channeling piezoelectric pulses to produce light or lift, explaining the eerie absence of soot on interior walls. No torch marks mar the ceilings, despite narrow passages demanding illumination for intricate work. Instead, perhaps ambient photon harvesting or ionized glows lit the way, a clean energy that leaves no residue. Ancient accounts from Herodotus and others describe mirrors reflecting sunlight deep inside, but piezoelectric glow offers a more tantalizing twist, turning the pyramid into a self-sustaining beacon. Experiments attempting to recreate these feats only heighten the mystery, exposing the chasm between theory and practice. In the late 1970s, a Japanese team set out to build a scaled-down pyramid using purported ancient methods, copper chisels, stone hammers, and manpower. Their ambition, a modest 20-meter height, a fraction of Giza's grandeur, yet the endeavor unraveled swiftly. Cutting blocks proved agonizingly slow. Days of labor yielded scant progress, with tools dulling against hard stone. They slashed the height to 10 meters, abandoning authenticity for power saws, modern barges, and cranes, even resorting to helicopters for upper levels. The failure, chronicled in reports from the time, underscored the implausibility. If experts with hindsight and budgets faltered on a miniature, how did an ancient workforce triumph on the monumental? Recently, this saga has been revisited through AI simulations, breathing new life into the debate. In mid-2025, an AI-driven model explored pyramid construction, blending historical data with virtual physics to test ramp theories and labor dynamics. As detailed in AI Miracles coverage, the simulation revealed inefficiencies in orthodox methods, ramps consuming vast resources, stability issues with heavy loads, while hinting at alternative leverages like water hydraulics or counterweights. Grok 3's analysis, shared on YouTube, even speculated on undiscovered tech, determining massive underground structures as potential aids. These digital recreations, while not physical, amplify the curiosity. If AI struggles to make ancient techniques viable without enhancements, what unseen forces bridged the gap? Frame this as quantum lithics, a lens viewing the pyramid not as stacked stones, but an engineered lattice where quantum effects play out on a macro scale. The quartz in granite, under the pyramid's compression, could induce piezoelectric surges, perhaps channeled through a missing capstone, a Benben stone of legend, gilded or crystalline, focusing energies like a lens. Theorist Ken Wheeler proposes such capstones as culminations of dielectric fields, concentrating the pyramid's inherent power for transmission or resonance. His diagrams, circulated in online forums, depict the structure as a pressure amplifier, wells beneath enhancing piezoelectric output. This ties to broader conspiracies. Modern tech reverse-engineered from these designs, inspiring innovators like Nikola Tesla. Tesla, obsessed with pyramids as energy transmitters, built towers echoing their form, believing they harnessed limitless power from the ether. Big Think articles explore his fascination, noting how Giza's proportions informed his wireless energy vision's towers as modern Benbens, broadcasting without wires. Tesla's Wardenclyffe Tower, erected in the early 20th century, aimed to transmit electricity globally, its pyramid-like base and elevated dome mirroring Giza's apex. He drew parallels, convinced the ancients mastered electromagnetic harmonies we rediscover today. YouTube documentaries like Tesla Knew the Secret of the Great Pyramid delve into this, positing the structure as a power plant, its chambers resonating to generate free energy. Ancient Origins premiums connect this to Giza-Tesla synergies, where quartz piezoelectricity under stress produces charges, potentially ionizing air for conductivity. If true, the no-soot conundrum resolves. Work illuminated by plasma glows from induced fields, not flames. Conspiracies swirl around this reverse engineering, governments or elites suppressing pyramid-derived tech to preserve fossil fuel dominance. Tesla's papers, seized post-death, allegedly contained Giza-inspired blueprints, fueling tales of hidden advancements. Medium essays, separate fact from fiction, acknowledging Tesla's pyramid studies while cautioning against overreach. Yet the intrigue persists. His obsessions birthed AC power, radio, perhaps drawing from ancient echoes. Ponder the ascent. Blocks lifted hundreds of feet without cranes, joints so tight a blade won't slip between. Spiral striations on cores suggest drills penetrating granite at rates, implying immense force or vibration. Ancient Origins articles argue for lost high-tech, with feed rates 500 times modern drills. Cora threads debate. Copper with abrasives? Yet experiments fail to replicate the groove's uniformity. The foundation's levelness, across 13 acres, required surveying beyond strings and water levels, perhaps acoustic leveling or geometric harmonics. No soot implies non-flame lights, mirrors, as some propose, or piezoelectric luminescence, where pressure-induced charges excite air molecules to glow. In the subterranean chamber, unfinished and mysterious, a pit descends, perhaps for resonance or energy collection. YouTube explorations question its purpose, water reservoir or vibrational anchor. These feats interlock, a puzzle where Bronze Age limits shatter. AI simulations recently underscore this. WorldCrunch reports on digital quests, blending myth and math, revealing ramps alone insufficient. Adept Expeditions recounts the Japanese fiasco, a redux in virtual realms confirming impossibilities. The pyramid emerges as engineered marvel, its impossible aspects hinting at quantum lithics, piezoelectric hearts pulsing with Earth's rhythms, capstones channeling skyward. Tesla's inspirations live on, his pyramid obsessions birthing modern wonders. Imagine unlocking a vault of numbers, where ratios and alignments reveal not random beauty, but deliberate codes, messages from a forgotten intelligence, perhaps signaling across eons. Pi emerges first, that infinite dance of circumference to diameter, approximated by ancients but embedded here with uncanny accuracy. Take the pyramid's base perimeter, roughly 921 meters, and divide by twice its height of 146 meters. The result hovers at 3.1416, a value eerily close to Pi's true essence, far beyond what trial and error construction might yield. How did builders from an age of rudimentary tools grasp this irrational number to such decimal depths, unless guided by stellar mathematics that wove the universe's fabric into their design? This isn't isolated coincidence. The golden ratio, phi, that sacred proportion of 1.618, pulses through the structure like a heartbeat. Measure the surface area of one triangular face and divide by the base's area, and phi materializes with precision that defies chance. Nature adores this ratio in spiraling galaxies, unfurling ferns, even the proportions of the human form, but here it's architectural, intentional, as if the pyramid mirrors the cosmos in miniature. Ponder the why. Was this a blueprint for harmony, aligning human creation with divine order? Ancient philosophers, like those in Plato's Academy, chased Phi's mysteries centuries after the pyramid stood, yet Giza predates them, suggesting knowledge inherited or observed from celestial patterns. Curiosity tugs. If Phi governs growth and beauty, does the pyramid encode a growth principle for civilizations, a mathematical seed planted for future awakening? Now, venture to the pyramid's placement, where geography meets physics in a riddle that borders on the prophetic. Its latitude, 29.9792458 degrees north, mirrors the speed of light in vacuum, 299,792,458 meters per second, down to the decimal. This coincidence isn't subtle. It's a numerical echo that screams intent, as if the builders inscribed a universal constant into the Earth's grid. Skeptics wave it away as pareidolia, seeing patterns where none exist, but calculate the odds. Latitudes span 0 to 90, yet this precise match aligns with a constant not formalized until the modern era. Frame it as an alien blueprint, a marker for interstellar travelers, or perhaps a warning light's speed as the ultimate barrier, encoded by minds attuned to cosmic limits. What message hides here? A beacon for those who decipher it, or a lock requiring advanced physics to unlock hidden functions? Scale models amplify the wonder, transforming the pyramid into a terrestrial map of celestial proportions. Multiply its base perimeter by 43,200, and you approximate Earth's equatorial circumference, accurate to within a few hundred feet, a feat predating precise global measurements by millennia. Similarly, scale the height by the same factor, and it matches the distance from Earth's center to the poles. This 43,200 isn't arbitrary. It equals half the precession cycle, that slow wobble of our planet's axis, shifting star positions over 25,920 years, or the seconds in 12 hours of daylight. It's a number laced with temporal poetry, tying the pyramid to Earth's rhythms and the heavens' dance. Early explorers marveled at this, but recent models refine it. Simulations in computational geometry confirm the ratios hold, suggesting deliberate encoding of planetary data. Why embed such knowledge? Perhaps as a time capsule, preserving geodetic truths against cataclysms, or a tool for navigation, aligning human endeavors with cosmic cycles. Orion's belt beckons next, a stellar trio mirrored on the Giza Plateau with haunting fidelity. The three pyramids, Khufu, Khafre, Menkaure, Echo Alnitak, Al-Nilam, and Mintaka, not as they appear today, but as viewed around 10,500 before Common Era, when precession positioned them differently. This correlation, first proposed in scholarly works from the late 20th century, aligns shafts from the King's Chamber to these stars' ancient paths, the southern one targeting Orion's center, the northern to the pole star of that epoch. It's stellar mathematics at play, requiring profound astronomical insight. Tracking precession demands observations spanning generations, far beyond what Bronze Age stargazers are credited with. The Nile's reflection of the Milky Way adds poetry, the plateau, a terrestrial sky map. But curiosity probes deeper. Why 10,500 before Common Era? That era marks the younger Dryas's thaw, a time of upheaval. Perhaps the alignment commemorates a cosmic event, or signals to future observers when alignments recur. Shadows reveal subtler codes during equinox dawns, when the sun's angle unveils the pyramid's eight-sided secret. Each face, seemingly flat, subtly concaves, creating two planes per side visible only in those fleeting moments as light and dark dance across the stone. This optical illusion, documented by aerial photographers in the mid-20th century, demands mathematical finesse. The concavity, a mere few inches over hundreds of feet, precisely tuned to manifest on equinoxes, marking solar midpoints with geometric grace. It's a living calendar, the structure breathing with the seasons, but how? Builders would need calculus-like precision, anticipating light's play across vast surfaces. Phenomena tied to this intrigue. Visitors during equinoxes report resonant hums, frequencies inducing visions or calm, as if the shadows activate latent energies. Is this encoded warning of cycles, precession, solstices hidden by academics fearing paradigm shifts? Resonant frequencies weave another layer, the pyramid's chambers vibrating at tones that stir the soul. The King's Chamber echoes at 110 Hz, a frequency linked to meditative states, while the overall structure amplifies sounds in patterns suggesting design. Acoustic studies, using cymatics, vibrations shaping sand into geometries, reveal patterns mirroring the pyramid's form, as if self-referential. This stellar mathematics extends to harmonies. Ratios in dimensions produce musical intervals, like perfect fifths, aligning with cosmic scales in ancient philosophies. Pythagoras, centuries later, pursued such harmonies, but Giza predates him, implying inherited wisdom. Curiosity asks, does this encode cosmic music, the harmony of the spheres Plato described, turning the pyramid into an instrument for attuning human consciousness to universal rhythms? Conspiracies shadow these codes. Academics, allegedly concealing implications to preserve timelines. Why dismiss pi's embedding as accident when probabilities plummet? The golden ratio's presence, combined with Phi's irrationality, defies random assembly. Earth's scale model, with 43,200 tying to precession, suggests geodetic mastery unknown until the 18th century. Recent Earth models confirm satellite data refines polar radii, matching scaled pyramid heights with startling accuracy. If encoded warnings, they might foretell cycles like magnetic reversals or asteroid paths, hidden lest they spark panic. The speed of light latitude, an alien blueprint perhaps, aligns with exoplanet discoveries, systems mimicking Orion, as telescopes reveal. This code could signal habitability constants, a message for cosmic kin. Eight-sided shadows, resonant visions. These phenomena hint at interactive math, the pyramid responding to observers. Equinox alignments induce altered states, frequencies unlocking insights, as anecdotal reports suggest. As numbers unfold, the pyramid becomes a cosmic codex, pi and phi as building blocks, scales mapping Earth, alignments charting stars. What unified theory binds them? Stellar mathematics posits a blueprint for ascension, ratios harmonizing matter and spirit. Academics' silence fuels conspiracy. Encoded cycles like precession, warning of resets, suppressed to maintain control. Ponder the improbability. Multiple coincidences in one structure, probabilities vanishingly small. This demands intent, builders wielding math as magic. From Orion's ancient gaze to light's encoded speed, the codes beckon decoding, a journey through numbers that teases at humanity's cosmic connection. And as you drift towards slumber, dear listener, if these mysteries stir your soul, I invite you to explore our Lost Civilizations playlist on Mystery History for Sleep, a gentle journey through more ancient enigmas, waiting to unfold in your dreams. Step through the narrow descending passage, the air growing cooler and thicker with each footfall, as if the pyramid itself exhales centuries of silence. You've entered the realm of the so-called burial chambers, spaces hailed as the eternal resting places of pharaohs. Yet what greets you is not the opulence of death's embrace, but an echoing void, stark and unadorned. The king's chamber looms first, its granite walls rising in unyielding severity, housing a solitary sarcophagus lidless, inscription-free, and curiously oversized for the entrance it supposedly passed through. No jewels sparkle here, no painted scenes recount heroic deeds. Instead, a profound emptiness pervades, challenging every assumption about this monument's purpose. If this was meant for Khufu's mummy, wrapped in linens and guarded by spells, where are the traces? The absence isn't mere robbery's aftermath, it's absolute, as if nobody ever graced this space, prompting whispers. Was the pyramid ever a tomb at all, or a machine disguised in stone? Its hidden purposes pulsing just beyond our grasp. Feel the weight of that question as you linger in the chamber's confines. The sarcophagus, hewn from a single block of granite, sits offset from the center, its dimensions too precise for casual placement, yet devoid of any royal cartouche or ritual marking. Forensic scans, employing techniques like ground-penetrating radar and chemical analysis, have scoured these surfaces for residues, traces of resins, bandages, or organic matter that mummification leaves behind. Nothing emerges, no pollen from funeral flowers, no fragments of bone or linen that even thorough thieves couldn't erase entirely. In contrast, lesser tombs yield such clues despite plundering, their walls etched with stories of the afterlife. Here, the silence is deafening, the chamber's acoustics amplifying every breath into a resonant hum, as if designed not for eternal sleep, but for awakening something deeper within the human spirit. Ascend now to the Grand Gallery, that soaring corridor with its corbelled ceiling narrowing skyward like a funnel for unseen forces. Its polished granite gleams under flashlight beams, but no hieroglyphs adorn the walls. No reliefs depict processions or gods. This passage, leading to the king's chamber, should brim with ceremonial intent, if burial was its aim, yet it's barren. A blank canvas that defies Egyptian traditions of narrative art. Scholars puzzle over its slant and height, proposing ramps for sarcophagus transport, but the dimensions strain that theory. The gallery's over-engineered scale suggests dynamic loads, perhaps vibrations or energies coursing through. Acoustic experiments reveal frequencies that resonate here, tones inducing calm or euphoria in listeners, hinting at a space tuned for consciousness alteration rather than corpse conveyance. Could this be a living machine? A chamber where sound waves harmonize with human biology, unlocking states of awareness far from funerary rites. Descend again, this time to the Queen's chamber, a misnomer that cloaks its mystery in gendered assumptions. No Queen's treasures fill this room. Its walls stand plain, a niche in one side empty of statues or offerings. Shafts extend from here, narrow and star-aligned, once thought for ventilation but now seen as projectors for the soul, or perhaps stellar energies. Robotic probes in recent explorations have navigated these, revealing doors and copper fittings that spark debate, ritual symbols, or functional components. The chamber's corbelled roof, like the king's, distributes weight with precision unnecessary for a simple vault, as if anticipating pressures from internal operations rather than overlying stone. Engineering analyses suggest these relieving chambers above absorb not just gravity's pull, but potential dynamic forces, vibrations, expansions, or even electromagnetic surges that a static tomb wouldn't require. This over-engineering permeates the pyramid, turning what should be a sepulchre into a puzzle of purpose. The subterranean chamber below, rough-hewn and incomplete, descends into a pit that some interpret as a symbolic underworld, but others as an anchor for resonant energies, or a reservoir for unseen mechanisms. No burial artifacts clutter this space. Instead, its asymmetry and depth intrigue, perhaps linking to aquifers below for hydraulic functions or sound amplification. The entire internal system chambers, connected by passages that twist without apparent logic, forms a network more akin to a device's circuitry than a grave's layout. Star shafts from both main chambers align not randomly but with celestial precision, one to Orion's belt, symbol of resurrection, another to Sirius, harbinger of floods. These aren't mere windows for the car spirit. They could channel cosmic rays or alignments for powering internal processes, as muon scans suggest densities that interact with such particles. Contrast this austerity with the lavishness of true tombs, where death's theatre unfolds in vivid detail. Valley of the Kings sites brim with painted narratives, deities guiding the deceased, spells warding evil accompanied by troves of goods for the journey beyond. Even modest nobles received such honours, their resting places inscribed with life stories and provisions. Here at Giza, the prestige paradox bites. Khufu, mightiest of rulers, commands the grandest structure yet opts for minimalism that borders on absurdity. No chemical echoes of mummification linger, no natron salts, no incense resins detectable in air samples or stone pores. Robbery theories falter. Even desecrated sites retain forensic fingerprints. Yet Giza yields none, as if no rite ever occurred. This void invites alternative visions, perhaps the pyramid as an acoustic device, its chambers resonating to manipulate sound waves for healing or insight. Frequencies measured within a line with those used in modern sound therapy, promoting cellular regeneration or altered consciousness. Visitors report inexplicable sensations, dizziness, visions during prolonged stays, as if the space attunes the mind to higher frequencies. Or consider it a stellar observatory internalized, shafts as sighting tubes for astronomical calculations, the emptiness allowing unimpeded observations or energy flows. Relieving chambers, stacked like pressure valves, could distribute loads from internal machinery, not mere stone-weight dynamic stresses from vibrations or fields that a tomb wouldn't generate. Hidden purposes multiply with recent revelations, where scans peel back more layers. Underground anomalies beneath the plateau, detected through synthetic aperture radar, suggest vast networks, room-like voids, and cylindrical shafts plunging deep, as chronicled in news outlets like the New York Post. These could connect chambers in ways unseen, forming a subterranean extension where true functions hide energy conduits or ritual spaces predating the surface build. Experts clash over interpretations, some dismissing as natural, others seeing artificial design that shocks with its complexity, per Euronews Culture reports. Voids in Menkari's pyramid, unveiled through cosmic ray imaging, add to the tapestry, their irregular forms hinting at purposes beyond burial, as YouTube analyses explore. Conspiracies shadow these empties, pharaohs usurping pre-existing structures, claiming them through inscriptions like Ramses II's recarving campaigns, where predecessors' works became his own. Abu Simbel's temples, initiated by Seti I but dominated by Ramesses' marks, exemplify this restoration misinterpreted as origination. At Giza, similar appropriation? The pyramid's starkness could stem from later additions overlaying ancient functions. Emptiness, a byproduct of repurposing. Authorities' restrictions on probes fuel this. Why block endoscopes or drills if only dust awaits? Preservation rings hollow when tourism churns the sands daily. Phenomena within tantalize. Star shafts as soul projectors, aligning with ancient skies to channel essences or data. The southern shaft's Orion link evokes resurrection myths, but perhaps it funneled stellar particles for power. No burial traces per forensic sweeps underscore this. Advanced spectrometry finds no organic signatures, as if the chambers awaited activation, not interment. The tomb narrative crumbles under this lens, revealing a functional enigma. Over-engineered for death, the pyramid pulses with life resonances, stirring the curious voids beckoning exploration. What purposes hide in its heart? A consciousness amplifier, tuning minds to cosmic whispers, an energy nexus, harnessing Earth's pulses. Pharaohs might have inherited it, their tombs a facade for sacred operations, if not a grave, then a gateway to knowledge, power, or realms unseen. Let us trace the invisible threads that bind the Great Pyramid of Giza to its silent kin scattered across continents, a network not of roads or rivers, but of subtle energies weaving through the planet's core. These are the ley lines, those enigmatic pathways of telluric currents, flowing like hidden rivers of power beneath our feet, linking sacred sites in a grand design that defies the maps of men. Feel the gentle hum of this global grid as we journey from the frozen south to the misty valleys of Europe and the forbidden plains of Asia, uncovering anomalies that hint at a unified purpose, perhaps an ancient system for harnessing the world's boundless vitality. Our odyssey begins in the icy embrace of Antarctica, that vast white wilderness at the world's end, where the wind howls secrets from a time when the continent bloomed with life. Here, beneath layers of eternal frost, radar scans have unveiled formations that mimic the sharp angles of pyramids, rising from the Ellsworth Mountains like guardians forged by the elements. One such peak, unnamed and aloof, spans a base of 2 square kilometers and soars over 4,000 feet, its symmetrical faces etched by eons of freeze-thaw erosion. Geologists attribute this to natural sculpting, much like the Matterhorn's jagged crown in the Alps, yet the precision stirs the soul. Could these be remnants of a submerged grid, aligned with Giza's latitude in a cosmic echo? Satellite imagery from expeditions in the early 21st century revealed these shapes, their coordinates mirroring universal constants, as if placed to channel polar energies. Telluric currents, those electric flows influenced by Earth's magnetic field, surge stronger here, where the planet's aura thins. Imagine survivors of lost epochs, fleeing cataclysms, embedding these outposts to balance global forces, their ley lines stretching northward like veins of light. Whispers persist of subglacial lakes and cavities below, detected by gravitational readings, potentially harboring preserved echoes of this network. As sleep beckons, ponder, in this frozen vault, Does the Earth guard its oldest memories, waiting for the ice to yield? Drift northward now, across oceans to the rolling hills of Bosnia, where the Visoko Valley cradles what some call the world's largest pyramid-complex mounds cloaked in vegetation, their triangular faces rising like slumbering giants. The Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, tallest among them, boasts planar slopes and a cardinal orientation deviating mere seconds from true north, its rectangular blocks tested to withstand immense pressure. Skeptics deem them natural hills, but measurements reveal electromagnetic beams emanating from the summit at 28 kHz, a frequency that dances with the Schumann resonance, the Earth's natural heartbeat, at 7.83 Hz. Interdisciplinary studies have documented these fields, where negative ions abound, cleansing the air of pollutants and fostering a sanctuary for body and mind. Visitors speak of healing miracles: tinnitus silenced, blood pressure normalized, lung capacities expanded after hours in the prehistoric tunnels beneath. These Ravni labyrinth passages, winding for miles, pulse with ultrasound and beneficial electromagnetism, inducing states of profound relaxation or even visions. One account tells of a volunteer whose chronic ailments eased amid the vibrations, as if the structure amplifies life's essence. Connected via ley lines to Giza, these Bosnian anomalies might form amplifiers in a planetary circuit, their telluric flows harmonizing with human biology. Ancient texts evoke similar sites as energy hubs. Here, perhaps, the grid awakens, offering glimpses of forgotten wellness. As your thoughts soften toward dreams, feel the valley's gentle thrum, a lullaby from the stones themselves. Sail eastward then, to the mist-shrouded plains of China's Shaanxi province, near the ancient capital of Xi'an, where over 100 pyramid-like mounds rise from the earth like silent sentinels. These structures, often flat-topped and terraced, serve as imperial mausoleums from dynasties long faded, yet their scale and secrecy evoke deeper riddles. The largest, Maoling, sprawls across a square base, wider than Giza's Great Wonder, its rammed earth core enduring millennia. Western eyes first glimpsed them in the early 20th century through traders' tales, but satellite views now unveil their array, some cloaked in trees by decree to blend with the landscape. Legends swirl around a white pyramid, pure and jewel-capped, towering 1,000 feet, sighted by pilots in fleeting moments but eluding ground searches amid military patrols. These mounds align with celestial patterns, their orientations tying into ley lines that stretch to distant horizons. Anomalies abound. Trace residues in chambers hint at alchemical pursuits, while their placement on energy meridians mirrors acupuncture's flow, perhaps channeling telluric currents for royal vitality or afterlife journeys. Connected to Giza via these invisible arteries, they might form nodes in a global web, their flat tops once platforms for rituals harnessing Earth's pulse. Forbidden excavations preserve their enigmas, but whispers of vast underground complexes echoing Bosnia's tunnels suggest hidden purposes beyond burial. As drowsiness claims you, envision these Eastern guardians, their silent vigil a bridge between worlds. Unite these far-flung sentinels through the veil of ley lines, those theoretical alignments drawn between historic landmarks, first mapped in the early 20th century by visionaries tracing prehistoric tracks across Britain. Expanded globally, they form a grid where telluric currents, electric flows through soil and sea, swayed by magnetic fields, converge at sacred sites. From Giza's apex to Bosnia's beams, Antarctica's peaks to Xi'an's mounds, these lines pulse with potential, amplifiers of planetary power. Ancient cultures, attuned to this web, positioned pyramids as ley line hubs, their geometries focusing energies like lenses. In Hindu lore, Vimana's flying chariots propelled by mercury vortex engines danced along these paths, their swirling liquids generating lift through arcane harmonies. Texts like the Vaimanika Shastra, revealed in the early 20th century, describe such craft powered by elements we now link to electromagnetic propulsion, perhaps tapping telluric flows for boundless flight. Imagine pilots navigating this grid, pyramids as charging stations or beacons, their capstones glowing with harnessed vitality. Phenomena at these nodes intrigue. Bosnia's healing fields, where negative ions and ultrasound soothe ailments, mirroring reports from Mexican pyramids at Teotihuacan, where visitors sense restorative vibrations. Antarctica's formations, though natural, sit on magnetic anomalies, their radar-revealed cavities potentially echoing subglacial energies. Xi'an's mounds, guarded and green-cloaked, align with acupuncture meridians, perhaps vitalizing emperors through Earth's currents. This unified grid might stabilize tectonics or amplify consciousness, a planetary nervous system ancient sages mastered. Yet shadows of suppression loom, a worldwide veil over this free energy narrative. Governments and corporations, vested in fossil fuels, allegedly quash pyramid-inspired tech wireless power, vibrational healing that could upend economies. Inventors like those pursuing Mercury engines face patents buried or funding dried, echoing tales of suppressed innovations. Conspiracy threads weave through history. Elite societies guarding lay knowledge, fearing societal upheaval if boundless energy flowed freely. Bosnia's sites face academic scorn, labeled pseudo-archaeology despite measured fields. Antarctica's anomalies dismissed as erosion, explorations curtailed. China's pyramids off limits, their secrets state-protected. This global hush preserves power structures, but cracks appear independent studies, leaked scans hinting at revelations. Where in the world does this episode find you? Nestled in a cozy Berlin flat or gazing out from a Tokyo high-rise? And as the stars wheel overhead for you, what time chimes softly in your corner of the globe, pulling you toward rest? In the velvet hush of midnight, when the world's clamor fades to a distant murmur, imagine the flickering lamplight of hidden chambers not within the pyramid itself, but in the cloistered halls of power where scholars and guardians convene. Here, amid stacks of ancient papyri and glowing screens, decisions are made that shape the stories we tell about our past. This is the domain of institutional shadows, where figures like Zahi Hawass stand as sentinels, their words weaving a veil over revelations that might shatter cherished narratives. Zahi Hawass emerges as a colossus in this landscape, a man whose passion for Egypt's heritage has elevated him to legendary status, yet whose pronouncements often cast long shadows over emerging finds. With a career spanning decades as excavator, minister, and global ambassador for antiquities, Hawass embodies the intersection of scholarship and stewardship. His excavations have unearthed treasures that illuminate pharaonic splendor, but his responses to unconventional claims reveal a fiercer side, a protector wary of theories that stray from the orthodox path. Consider his recent rebuttals to reports of vast underground networks beneath the Giza Plateau, structures detected through advanced radar techniques that promise to unveil hidden complexes stretching deep into the earth. In statements shared widely, Hawass branded these as fake news, insisting they lacked scientific merit and were mere fabrications aimed at diminishing the achievements of ancient Egyptians. He emphasized that no approved radar had penetrated the pyramid's interiors, and the methods employed were unvalidated, a dismissal that echoed through media channels and silenced much of the initial buzz. But as sleep's gentle tide pulls at you, ponder the undercurrent. Why such swift condemnation? Is it pure scholarly rigor, or a reflex to safeguard a narrative where Egyptians alone wielded the genius to craft these wonders? Hawass's role transcends personal conviction. He represents a broader institutional ethos, where the weight of national identity presses upon every interpretation. Egypt's pyramids are not mere ruins, they are emblems of a civilization's ingenuity, fueling tourism that sustains economies and pride that unites a people. To suggest older origins or external influences risks unraveling this tapestry, portraying modern Egypt as mere custodians of another's legacy. Hawass has often framed his defenses in these terms, portraying fringe theories as assaults on cultural grandeur. In interviews and public addresses, he recounts his life's work as a battle against sensationalism, from debunking alien builders to refuting lost cities below the sands. Yet, this vigilance creates a great silence, where promising leads like anomalies in ground-penetrating scans are met with barriers rather than open arms. Access to sites tightens, permits evaporate, and researchers find themselves on the outside, their data dissected and discarded. As your breathing slows, envision Hawass not as a villain, but a gatekeeper in a vast library, deciding which volumes see the light, his choices shaped by the echoes of history's fragile pride. This silence isn't Hawass's alone. It resonates through the halls of academia, where established paradigms hold sway like ancient decrees. Institutions, from universities to museums, build careers on foundational timelines, the pyramids, as Fourth Dynasty triumphs, erected around 4,500 years ago, through ramps and resolve. Challenge this, and the edifice trembles. Textbooks require revision, grants shift, reputations waver. History offers poignant parallels, where breakthroughs faced ridicule before acceptance. Recall Heinrich Schliemann's quest for Troy in the late 19th century. Academics scorned him as an amateur chasing Homeric myths, declaring the Iliad pure fiction. Yet his spade unearthed layered ruins at Hisarlik, vindicating the epics and forcing a rewrite of Bronze Age narratives. The establishment absorbed the shock, but the initial resistance lingered, a pattern repeating in discoveries that upend timelines. A more recent echo comes from Göbekli Tepe in modern Turkey, those enigmatic stone circles dating back 12,000 years, predating settled agriculture by millennia. When Klaus Schmidt began excavations in the mid-1990s, the archaeological world balked such complexity, from hunter-gatherers, defied the progression from simple to sophisticated societies. Dismissals flew, misdated artifacts, overinterpreted symbols. Yet, as pillars emerged, carved with intricate animals and abstract forms, the site demanded a rethink of human development, pushing civilization's cradle deeper into prehistory. Academia's muted response at first funding trickled. Publications delayed mirrored the Great Silence, only yielding when evidence overwhelmed doubt. Now, Göbekli Tepe stands as a cornerstone, but the initial drag reveals institutional inertia, where paradigms protect themselves like fortresses against the siege of novelty. This resistance isn't born of malice, but of human nature, intertwined with structure, tenure, tracks favor safe scholarship, peer reviews echo prevailing views, and funding flows to projects reinforcing the known. In Egyptology, this manifests as a chorus against alternative timelines, where suggestions of pre-dynastic origins for Giza meet scorn. Hawass, as a vocal exemplar, has navigated this terrain, his celebrity from documentaries and books amplifying his stance. He champions Egyptian agency, decrying theories that rob ancients of credit, yet this zeal sometimes silences dialogue. Take the Dixon relics, cedar fragments from the pyramid's shafts carbon-dated centuries before Khufu's reign. Academia's response was tepid, explanations of old wood prevailing without fervent follow-up. Access for further testing remains elusive, permits denied under preservation pretexts, perpetuating the silence. The Great Silence extends to collaborative efforts, where international teams face bureaucratic labyrinths. Projects like scan pyramids, blending Egyptian oversight with global tech, have yielded voids and corridors, but interpretations stay conservative structural features, not revolutionary chambers. Hawass's influence lingers here. As advisor or commentator, his words shape discourse, steering away from speculation. In public forums, he anticipates breakthroughs, teasing robotic probes into walls, yet tempers expectations, ensuring narratives align with established glory. This duality, promoting discovery while curating it, creates a controlled revelation, where the Great Silence absorbs uncomfortable echoes. Yet cracks appear in this veil, fueled by independent voices and digital dissemination. Online platforms host debates where dismissed data resurfaces, from radar anomalies to acoustic studies, challenging the silence. Hawass engages these, his rebuttals sharp, as in his dismissal of underground city claims beneath Khafre fabrications by non-experts, he asserts, lacking fieldwork or validation. Such statements, while defending rigor, amplify the intrigue. Why not collaborative verification? The silence, in turn, breeds conspiracies, elites hiding free energy or alien legacies, but beneath lies a human story of protecting legacies against the unknown. Academia's broader track record reveals this pattern's persistence. From Troy's unearthing to Göbekli Tepe's acceptance, initial scorn gives way to integration, but the lag stifles progress. In pyramid studies, this manifests as a great silence around Anomalies' Dixon dates, void purposes where evidence supporting orthodoxy amplifies, while challenges fade. Hawass, as Egyptology's face, embodies this, his brand intertwined with the narrative. Books, tours, media portray him as defender, but at what cost to curiosity? Picture yourself soaring above a verdant Sahara, not the barren dunes of today, but a lush expanse teeming with rivers and lakes, where megalakes like ancient Chad sprawled larger than modern seas, nurturing populations that rivaled empires. This was the Green Sahara period, a time before 6,000 years ago when the region pulsed with life, its fertile soils sustaining communities far more advanced than the simple farmer's history paints them as. In this dream vision, we descend into their midst, villages evolving into metropolises, where knowledge of the stars guided not just planting seasons but grand constructions. These Ice Age peoples, enduring stable climates for over 100,000 years, had ample time to cultivate sophistication mastering metallurgy, astronomy, and energies drawn from the earth itself. The Great Pyramid, in this reverie, stands not as their creation but as an inheritance, a relic from even earlier waves of ingenuity, passed down through survivors of climatic upheavals. As we glide closer, shadows of hybrid humans emerge, figures with elongated skulls, their forms blending familiar humanity with something otherworldly, perhaps echoes of intermingled lineages from distant origins. These beings, operators of a vast grid, moved with purpose across the landscape, their crania housing minds attuned to frequencies beyond our ken. Archaeological finds from Peru to Egypt reveal such skulls, their volumes expanded and sutures fused in ways that whisper of genetic anomalies, not mere cultural bindings. In our dream journey, these hybrids serve as custodians, channeling telluric currents through pyramid nodes, their enhanced perceptions allowing communion with the planet's pulse. Imagine them activating capstones that once crowned these structures, now lost to time, where plasma discharges arced like living lightning, drawn from ancient texts describing fiery auras atop sacred mounts. Hindu vimanas and Egyptian benben stones evoke similar phenomena, mercury-infused engines spinning to ignite ethereal glows, propelling craft or illuminating ceremonies under starlit skies. The Younger Dryas cataclysm intrudes now, a sudden freeze that shattered this idol around 12,900 years ago, its cometary barrages or solar flares unleashing floods and frosts that reset the world. In our visionary flight, we witness the chaos. Ice sheets advancing, seas rising, civilizations crumbling as the Green Sahara withered into desert. Populations scattered, some migrating to the Nile's refuge, carrying fragments of their lore blueprints for monuments, rituals for energy harnessing. The pyramid, resilient amid the turmoil, became a beacon for these refugees, its design incorporating their forgotten potentials, abilities to levitate stone through sound, or draw power from ley lines that crisscrossed the globe. This explains the sudden leap in Egyptian achievements, not born of isolation but infused with Ice Age wisdom, diluted over generations yet potent in structures like Giza. Drift with me deeper into this realm, where conspiracies flicker like distant campfires. Today's elites, descendants or seekers of this legacy, might harvest the pyramid's latent energy, their technologies reverse-engineered from these ancient grids. Whispers circulate of covert operations at Giza, where electromagnetic readings spike during alignments, perhaps siphoned for undisclosed projects. Ancient texts from Sumeria to India describe similar harvests, gods or giants, drawing vitality from earthbound obelisks, sustaining immortality or dominion. In our dreamscape, hybrid guardians oversee this, their elongated forms echoing in royal depictions, like those of Akhenaten, whose unusual physique hints at preserved bloodlines. These lineages, blending human with archaic strains, Perhaps Neanderthal admixtures or unknown hominids conferred advantages, heightened intuition, resilience to cataclysms. As the Sahara desiccated, they encoded survival knowledge in the pyramid's math, pi and phi, as keys to rebuilding harmony. Beyond the Ice Age's grasp, these realms extend to hybrid evolutions, where elongated skulls from global sites suggest a worldwide phenomenon. Paracas in Peru yields crania with anomalous DNA, haplotypes tracing unexpected paths, as if these beings bridged continents via lost migrations. Our vision carries us to these shores, where shamans with such heads orchestrated ceremonies, their minds gateways to plasma realms, discharges from capstones illuminating visions of cosmic order. Egyptian Shemsu Hor, divine predecessors to pharaohs, embody this. Semi-gods ruling for eons, their feats like pyramid building attributed to superhuman prowess. Hindu Danavas, towering and wise, parallel this, their conflicts with deities masking a transfer of knowledge post-cataclysm. Elites, through secretive societies, guard these potentials, harvesting pyramid energies for longevity serums or mind control tech. Reports of unusual activities at Giza nighttime closures. Unexplained equipment fuel this, perhaps tapping piezoelectric granite for wireless power, echoing Tesla's inspirations. Ancient plasma phenomena, described in texts as divine fire, might be harnessed today, elites replicating capstone discharges in labs, sustaining their edge. In this ethereal wander, forgotten potentials awaken. Ice Age humans, hybrids among them, mastering grids that stabilized climates or amplified thoughts. The younger Dryas reset scattered this, but echoes linger in pyramids worldwide. Bosnian emissions healing, Chinese mounds aligning meridians. Good evening, dear listeners of Mystery History for Sleep. This is Mr. H, your faithful companion in the tranquil hours, drawing the curtains on our odyssey through the Great Pyramid's veiled enigmas. We began our exploration standing in awe before the pyramid's colossal form, questioning the orthodox tale of Bronze Age Egyptians wielding copper chisels against impossible odds. Yet, as we've spiraled through the shadows, the structure has revealed itself not as a solitary tomb, but as a living oracle, its stones etched with codes that transcend time. Pi and the golden ratio pulse within its proportions, mathematical harmonies that nature herself reveres in the curl of a seashell, the spiral of a galaxy now mirrored in human handiwork, or perhaps something beyond. These are not accidents of aesthetic whim. They are deliberate symphonies, tuning the pyramid to the universe's rhythm, inviting us to listen for the music of creation. What does it whisper? That beauty and order are woven into existence's fabric, and those who built it, whether Ice Age visionaries, Atlantean survivors, or even visitors from distant stars, understood this melody far better than we. Their descendants have yet grasped. Feel the echo resonate as we circle the engineering marvels, those feats that mock our modern cranes and computations. Blocks of granite, heavier than locomotives, transported across vast distances and lifted to dizzying heights with joints so tight that light itself cannot slip between. The absence of soot in torchlit passages, the piezoelectric hum of quartz under pressure, these are not puzzles to be solved with ramps and ropes alone, but invitations to envision lost arts, vibrational levitation, where sound waves danced stones into place, or mercury vortexes spinning ethereal forces into tangible power. In this spiral reflection, the pyramid whispers of human potential unbound, a reminder that our ancestors, or perhaps our forgotten kin, harnessed energies we now chase in laboratories. From Tesla's wireless dreams to quantum experiments, it urges us, reclaim these echoes, for in them lies the key to futures where energy flows freely, illuminating paths we've long left dark. Now, let the spiral draw us into the empty chambers, those stark voids that defy the tomb narrative with their resounding silence. No mummies, no treasures, no inscribed spells to guide souls through the afterlife, only granite austerity and star-aligned shafts piercing the heavens. What purpose, then, if not eternal rest? The pyramid's whisper here is one of transformation, a space designed not for death's stasis but for life's elevation. resonant frequencies that soothe the mind, alignments channeling cosmic rays. Perhaps these were chambers of initiation, where seekers attuned their essence to the stars, unlocking visions or healing through the earth's own pulse. Contrast this with the lavish burials of lesser nobles, and the paradox sharpens. The mightiest monument, barren of pomp, speaks of humility before the cosmos, a machine for spiritual ascent rather than material hoard. In our dreamlike ascent, it murmurs a truth. Death is but a doorway, and the pyramid guards not bodies, but the eternal spark within us all. As the spiral widens, encompassing the global network, feel the ley lines thrum beneath your resting form, connecting Giza to Bosnia's healing hills, China's shrouded mounds, and Antarctica's icebound peaks. This is no isolated wonder. It's a node in a planetary web, where telluric currents flow like blood through veins, amplifying energies that ancient sages tapped for harmony and health. Vimanas soaring on Mercury winds, plasma arcs crowning capstones, these echoes from diverse lore suggest a unified system, now fragmented by time's erosion. The pyramid whispers of unity, a call to recognize our world's interconnected pulse, where anomalies worldwide heal, energize, and enlighten. In this reflection, it beckons us to mend the grid, harnessing these forces for a renaissance of well-being, free from the chains of scarcity. Yet, the spiral darkens as we confront the institutional shadows, those veils drawn by guardians like Zahi Hawass and the academies they represent. Their great silence, a symphony of dismissals and denials, protects not just artifacts, but paradigms, where Egyptian ingenuity stands unchallenged against whispers of older origins or extraterrestrial hands. Hawass's fervent defenses, framing anomalies as fake news, echo a deeper guardianship, where national pride and scholarly legacies intertwine. Like Schliemann's Troy or Göbekli Tepe's circles, breakthroughs face initial scorn, the silence a buffer against upheaval. The pyramid's whisper here is one of caution. Truth often hides behind authority's walls, but persistence cracks them, inviting the light of inquiry. In our nocturnal musing, it encourages, question the gatekeepers, for in their shadows lie the sparks of revelation. Circling through suppressed discoveries, the voids and corridors unveiled by muon rays and radar beams tease at hidden depths, vast networks plunging into the earth, L-shaped enigmas buried in cemeteries. These are not mere architectural footnotes, but portals to purposes untold. Energies concentrated in ways that modern physics only begins to fathom. The pyramid whispers of patience, for each scan peels a layer, each denial fuels the fire of curiosity. Beyond, in alternative realms, Ice Age visions unfold, lush Saharas birthing sophistications, hybrids with elongated minds, operating grids that stabilized worlds. The Younger Dryas reset scattered this, but echoes persist plasma phenomena from capstones, Mercury engines lifting spirits and stones. Conspiracies murmur of elites harvesting these, their silence preserving power, but the whisper counters. These potentials belong to all, awaiting collective awakening. As our spiral nears its zenith, the pyramid's ultimate echo resounds a call to embrace eternity's embrace. It stands not as relic, but as mirror, reflecting humanity's boundless spirit. From Atlantean shadows fleeing floods to giant lineages forging impossible feats, from alien blueprints in stellar codes to global grids pulsing with life, these threads weave a narrative of resilience. The pyramid whispers, "You are heirs to this vastness, your dreams the canvas for rediscovery." Let go of rigid histories, embrace the whispers that stir in the night, guiding toward potentials untapped. In this final loop, as slumber's tide rises, hear the pyramid's eternal song, echoes of unity, innovation, and wonder. What futures might we build, attuned to its lessons? Dream deeply now, dear ones, in the pyramid's gentle glow. This is Mr. H, bidding you good night from the edges of eternity. But wait, the spiral doesn't end. It invites continuation in your subconscious wanderings. Reflect on the aliens as master builders, their starseed architecture embedding electromagnetic resonators that focus waves like ancient beacons. The Atlantean shadows, with their crystal harmonies and mercury pools, evoke a lost symphony of soul extraction, chakras aligning with Ba and Ka in a dance of ethereal power. Giants among us, Nephilim with forbidden lineages, stride through myths as titans of stone, their acoustics inducing visions that bridge realms. Suppressed discoveries, corridors, voids, and networks veil bureaucratic secrets, while engineering impossibilities whisper of quantum lithics, piezoelectric hearts beating with Earth's rhythm. Mathematical mysteries code cosmic constants, from pi's infinite grace to light's speed etched in latitude, a stellar mathematics harmonizing with procession's waltz. The tomb that never was, empty yet alive with resonant purposes, transforms into a consciousness amplifier, star shafts projecting souls to Orion's embrace. The global pyramid network, connected by ley lines, forms amplifiers where Vimana engines once roared, Bosnian emissions healing, Antarctic peaks balancing polar flows. Institutional shadows, with Hawass as vigilant sentinel, guard the great silence, echoing historical resistances like Troy's denial or Göbekli Tepe's slow acceptance. In alternative realms, Ice Age civilizations thrive in green Saharas, hybrids operating grids amid plasma discharges, cataclysms resetting but not erasing potentials. Elites harvest this beyond, mercury vortices spinning in hidden labs, but the whisper affirms, these echoes are yours to reclaim. As eternity's echoes fade into your dreams, the pyramid stands eternal, its whispers a lullaby for the soul. Sleep well, in mystery's tender hold.